Alright, today I am making gluten-free KFC style chicken. It's not deep fried, it's done in the oven, but because the boy is gluten intolerant, I practiced of so many different ways to try and do a gluten-free KFC, because it's a shame for him to miss out when other people are eating it around him. So this is a healthier version, I guess. And let's go. What you need really is, all I could find these days, they want to cut the bones out of every single thing these days. I use thigh, they call them thigh cutlets here, thighs. It still has a bone in it, which is preferable. Thank God I found these. But if you can find a whole thigh that hasn't been deboned, great, use those. I've got 9 of those. I've got some eggs for a egg wash, some instant tomato soup, doesn't matter what brand, you can use any that you've got wherever you are. Some mixed herbs. I'm using mixed herbs instead of, you can go on the internet and supposedly get all the different herbs that go into it, but mixed herbs is pretty much it. You got everything in there that you'd find on the internet, and it tastes good. So garlic powder, definitely garlic powder. The coconut oil, you'll see why, because I don't use any other oil. You'll see why in a minute. And I've got my bowl. I've got my bag to flour the chicken. I've got my pan. And gluten-free flour, I usually put them in these, like I've had these for ages and ages and ages. I just put them in there because it's airtight, it's plastic, and it keeps all sorts of moisture. And I don't know, here where I live, it's a constant battle with weevils. It's annoying. So any type of gluten-free self-raising flour, it's about a 50-50 mix. And gluten-free, again, whatever gluten-free flour you've got in your part of the world. I just know, because I do a lot of shopping at Aldi, because I know they have a good gluten-free range. So that's that. And I'm going to grab myself a glass of wine. Let's get started. All right, so... Oh, nice. So I've washed these, the chicken thighs. So just basic egg wash. I don't put milk or anything in mine. I don't find I need to. Today I'm using my own eggs from my chickens, which is great. Use 3, depending on the amount that you've got. Yeah, I've got 9 pieces, so I'll definitely need 3. Get this happening. And he loves it. Like I said, a lot of practice. Try not to do this right underneath the camera. A lot of practice for me to get it as close, and I found it is as close as I can get for oven baking KFC. Like I said, you can deep fry it, but trying to sort of be healthy-ish. All right, I suppose I better put all this stuff. I use 2 sachets of the tomato soup mix. Come on. You can, the herbs, mixed herbs, you can throw in what you are comfortable with. I'm happy to get a real herby type sort of taste. Plus, it might look like a lot, but it's not. Once you mix it in with the flour, it disperses. Go easy. Again, personal taste on the garlic powder. Yeah, it spreads. Once you put the flour in it and coat it, you're not going to get as much as what you think. So just what I think to coat it. It doesn't matter because you can just throw what you haven't used away. And a little bit of self-raising flour. I think that should do it. Give it a good mix so you don't just end up with a tomato soup mix on one piece of chicken. And I can see already I want some more herbs in there, I think, because you can hardly see it. Ooh. I went crazy that time. Okay, that's it. That's your dusting powder done. I got my pan there. Let's get this closer together. And we're off to dust. Stick them in the egg wash. You can, if you want to, put milk in it, if you want to. I don't bother. This is going to get pretty messy. And the fact that these have been deboned, majority, I might actually put that in another bowl. Just bear with me a sec. This will do. Because they've deboned it, partially deboned it, it's making it, the skin's not sticking and it's sort of flapping around all over the place, so she'll be right. Put it in, pat her down, and in the pan. And we just keep going. You can watch me, I guess. It's going to be a quick video, so you'll just see the end result, really, of when it comes out of the oven. Oh, halfway through you'll see, because just to make sure everything's okay. And two. You're happy to watch me doing this? It's quite therapeutic, apart from the loud clanging I'm doing. Gosh, I'm not going to have enough room. These are really big pieces. How am I going to work it? I don't know, Chanel. We'll get it to work. Stop talking, Michael. Gonna have somebody complaining. Armies! Your oven setting while I'm at it. Depending on where you are, I don't know. Different settings around the world, sorry. So you'll just have to work it out yourselves. On mine, I've got it turned up to 400. I think it's Celsius, I think. And I've got fan forced on. I want it reasonably hot to start off with. I will turn it down halfway through, but I want to get that sort of crispy type sort of coating skin thing going. You'll get them in there, Michael. You'll get them in there. They're so huge. They didn't seem huge when I bought them. And yeah, I'll turn it down to say about 165-ish, about halfway through, just so it doesn't burn and dry it out. If you leave it on high the whole time, you'll get them in there. I will make it work. Who says that? Make it work. What's his name? Tim Gunn, isn't it? Make it work. Or is it RuPaul? I think it's Tim Gunn. I miss that show. I don't like the new one. Okay. Good luck trying to get that in there. And a bit of a reshuffle. There we go. Reshuffle those suckers. And they can be pretty close to each other because they, as people know, things shrink in the oven. So they'll be alright. As long as they're not on top of each other, you're fine. Okay, bit of powder just where I've disturbed, a bit of flour, powder. Oh, I'll clean that mess up later. Oh. Okay, get rid of that. Oh. Cheers, everybody, by the way. Right, next. I want, and the only reason I've got two out is because one's about to be finished. I'll use that one first. Okay, you want good, decent sized dollops on each of the pieces. Say, depending on the size of the piece, doesn't really matter because I've said in, I think previous, stay there, come on, get off me. In previous videos, coconut oil is reasonably healthy, quite a healthy fat, is it fat oil? And it doesn't matter, but about a tablespoon. Perched up on the highest point. Don't just throw it anywhere in there on top because you want it on the highest point, because on the highest point it's going to melt down over the rest of it. Told you, I'm practiced. I have practiced and practiced. And for him to like always constantly want seconds, it's a very good sign that, you know, if you're trying to make some imitation KFC, try to think you're going to fool somebody, But you'll know straight away if they don't like it, because they won't eat it. They won't go back for more. So just say I'll put that on there. Like I said, on the highest point, and it'll all melt down. It'll all melt down underneath. It'll make it all nice and lovely without all the really unhealthy fat. I don't use vegetable oil hardly ever for anything, and olive oil just won't do it. So a bit of salt. Don't come at me at the salt, because you need a good decent bit of salt. If anybody smothers their pork skin in salt to get pork crackling, then you can't talk about the amount. You need some seasoning on there to bring it all out. Goes in the oven. I will check that after half an hour. That'll give me time to clean up. We'll come back. I'll finish my drink, maybe another one, and I'll see you when I come back. Okay, so here we are. It's halfway through. If the thigh pieces had had all the bone still intact, I probably would have done this for an hour and checked after half an hour. But because it's only just got one bone, I've cut it down to 45 minutes for the whole process. So I'm basically looking sort of roughly 20 minutes. Oh, lovely. And it's done what I want it to. Sometimes when you take it out, because I put enough coconut oil on top of all these pieces, it's actually done what I want it to do. Sometimes you'll have dry patches if you don't put it on the highest point of the chicken. Have some dry, floury bits that haven't actually cooked, and these, as you can see, look gorgeous. I'm really happy with that. Yum, yum. I've got a little bit more, as you can see now that it's cooking, a little bit more mixed herbs in it, because I accidentally put a little bit too much in, but that doesn't matter. It's still going to taste lovely. So if there had been dry floury bits when you take it out half time, because all the oil has now melted into the bottom, you would basically, I don't have much room because these pieces are so huge. Can you see that? You would just coat where you need to, if the dry floury bits, and it would absorb and do its thing. I'm not going to do too much, because then it'll just make it a bit too greasy, because it's done its thing, says he. So, and it keeps going and going. It just won't stop. Lovely. Oh, gorgeous. Done. So back in the oven. Turned down, like I said, to about 165 Celsius. No idea what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, look it up. I'm not your mother. Put it back in and let it cook. Like I said, for all up 45 minutes. So that'll be, I don't know, about 22 minutes-ish. And I'll come back to check it. I'll go and have some more of my wine, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, here we are. It is time. They should be cooked. They have been in there for 45 minutes. And lovely. Just what I wanted. Just, as you can see, just starting to go nice and brown and crispy on top. Turn the oven off. And I will sit this in the pan without burning myself. Hang on. At a tilt. It looks like a lot of oil in the bottom, but it isn't. Half of that is the juices from the chicken. Okay, and just let that set, let that drain off. You can see I've got the pan at an angle, and most of that will all drain down. Get the chicken out of the oil so it's not, some of them aren't swimming, so it's got room to just drain. It saves getting another plate, saves having heaps of paper towel to try and absorb the thing. I found if you do it this way in the pan, it all has a chance to cool off together. And you can see here the amount. Like I said, there's a lot of juice, juice from the chicken. So I will drain the coconut oil off once these have drained a bit, and I will put it on a plate eventually. And I can use the juices once I've drained the coconut oil off as a bit of gravy. So that's it. That is my... I'll get you a piece. And like I said, it's a bit darker than it normally would be because I've put a bit of too much herbs in it, but it still looks gorgeous. That is my imitation gluten-free KFC, and the boy loves it. You can see the amount of juice that's coming out. Can you see that? The amount of juice that's coming out. It's all coming out nice and clear, so you can see that it's cooked. And it's gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you the next one. I hope you enjoyed if you make it. Bye.